Welcome back, TTS Daily with me, Yi. Our first story, a bunch of wheelchairs for the general polling station have been damaged. And number 2, a man returns after a 12-year run. Our third story is Bangkok, where a Filipino student sleeps and dashes in 5-star hotel, followed by another Thailand story where a gold robber have different recollections of his bank savings. And finally, our last story of the day, a Malaysia tragedy which is really saddening. Okay, our first story in Singapore. 13 youths aged 13 to 20 are under investigation for damaging wheelchairs at the designated polling stations in 2 separate incidents. These incidents involve vandalism of government property. The first incident happened on April 28, 2025 around 10:55 p.m. at Block 51A Sengkang West Avenue, where 3 wheelchairs were damaged and 5 suspects have been identified by Ang Mo Kio Police Division. The suspects used the wheelchairs to race, one allegedly thrown in the air. And the second incident happened on May 1st, 2025 at Block 176B, Boon Lay Drive, with 1 wheelchair damaged. 8 suspects have been identified by Jurong Police Division. Investigations are ongoing for both cases and police emphasize zero tolerance for vandalism, especially during elections, promising firm action. The vandalism offence under Section 3 of the Vandalism Act carries up to 2,000 Singapore dollars fine, up to 3 years imprisonment and 3 to 8 strokes of caning. And now a man finally returns after a 12 years run. He has been on a run for 12 years. Mr. T, then 46, attacked a 50-year-old man in his wife's Ang Mo Kio flat at 6 a.m. on January 25th, 2011. Okay? Mr. T slashed the victim across the chest and abdomen with a sharp object, causing severe injuries, including a lacerated spleens and exposed intestines. The victim was sleeping in a bedroom with Mr. T's wife when T and his 20-year-old son barged in. The events leading up to this incident was Mr. T's wife, daughter, the victim, and the victim's daughter were drinking in the flat from 1 a.m. in the flat that belonged to Mr. T's wife. Mr. T's son witnessed the victim behaving intimately with Mr. T's wife, and that caused a family dispute at 3 a.m. in the morning. And 2 hours later, Mr. T's son was asked to leave the flat. Mr. T's son then packed his belongings, left the flat with his fiancée and 2-month-old baby. Mr. T's son then contacted Mr. T, who was then in his rental flat in Toa Payoh. He then went down to his wife's flat at 6 a.m. bringing along the sharp object with him. Mr. T's son was not aware that his father was carrying a sharp object. Mr. T and his son then entered the flat, kicked open the bedroom door, and Mr. T attacked the victim. After the assault, Mr. T ran, fled, discarded the sharp object in the rubbish bin and took a taxi, where he left Singapore via a Changi jetty, fleeing to Malaysia. The victim underwent surgery at Tan Tock Seng Hospital for severe injuries and was discharged on January 28, 2011. He recovered but has a permanent abdominal scar. Mr. T finally surrendered to authorities on October 17, 2023 after 12 years running on the run, citing that he misses his family. On April 30th, 2025, Mr. T, now 60 years old, pleaded guilty to charges including assault and illegal departure from Singapore, and sentencing is scheduled for May 15, 2025. The details of Mr. T's marriage at the time of the incident was not disclosed, and the court also did not detail how Mr. T managed to flee to Malaysia. This 26-year-old Filipino man has been arrested for fraudulently staying at multiple 5-star luxury hotels in Bangkok without paying, causes losses of several 100,000 baht. So his scheme is really smart. What he does is he will book a 4 to 5 night stay at luxury hotels via online platforms, selecting to pay by credit card on arrival. He then arranged limousine services for himself and his father from the airport. Okay, so you have to hear this very carefully. He actually arranged 2 separate limo services. He will arrive on day 1 after getting picked up from the airport by the limousine service, arrive at the hotel. Upon check-in, he would claim that his father would pay the bill the second day when the limo services pick up his father from the airport. The hotel receptionist will usually check the records and say, yes, there have been 2 bookings of limo services to pick up the client from the airport on day 1 and day 2. Day 1 being the 26-year-old Filipino male and day 2 for his father. So they will, hesitantly accept to his request. And what he does is, he will sleep and enjoy all the hotel facilities, and then he will vanish and disappear the following day when they are supposed to pick up his supposedly father from the airport with the limousine service. Obviously, no such father did arrive, cutting off all communications. So that was his little scheme, okay? So immigration officers finally launched an investigation and finally realized this fraudster was not a tourist but actually a Filipino university student in Thailand. His name is Leonardo Hernandez and he's a student at a university at Rangsit Patumpani province near Bangkok, okay? Hernandez has been arrested at his residence on April 25th, 2025 and he'll be charged under Section 341 of the criminal law for fraud by deception, facing up to 3 years imprisonment, a fine of up to 60,000 baht or both. He's currently in custody at Yanawa Police Station awaiting further legal proceedings. This story of a Thai gold robber has really bizarre motives, okay? So this just happened on 27 April 2025 around 7 p.m. where the Thai gold robber is also 25-year-old suspect Mr. N, a Durian cutter from Champun province, okay? First of all, earlier in the day, he went to the bank to withdraw 1.7 million baht, which is about 66,000 Singapore dollars from his bank account because he believed he has said amount of money. But the bank informed him that he could only withdraw 3 baht. Imagine you wanted to withdraw 1.7 million baht, but the bank tell you, sorry sir, you can only withdraw 3 baht. That's about 10 cents in Singapore dollar value, okay? So Mr. N was very frustrated about that, and because of that, he decided to rob a gold shop. Does that even make sense? So upon entering the gold shop, Mr. N browsed the merchandise before suddenly stepping out and grabbing a bunch of gold, robbing the shop. He fled the shop but was intercepted during the escape. As you can see right here in the photo, there was a man with his wife at the shop, and that happened to be former boxer Winai Masawat, age 52, who tackled Mr. N on the escalator along with 2 other good Samaritans who assisted him in restraining Mr. N. Police found Mr. N bleeding from the head upon arrival. And now, for some further context to this kind of bizarre robbery tale is Mr. N claimed that he worked as a durian cutter, earning 400 to 500,000 baht annually. He had originally planned to sell amulets earlier in the day to fund a land purchase for his mother. He couldn't sell any amulets, so he decided to withdraw the money that he has in his bank. And he claimed he never withdrew any money and wasn't aware of the account status, okay? And he also admitted that he took illegal substances prior to visiting the bank. Upon reaching the bank, like I've mentioned, he was enraged to find out that he could only withdraw 3 baht instead of 1.7 million baht. So we have one context. One, he took illegal substances, which, probably clouded his judgment a bit. And then, after the bank had their investigations, they did recall that he did have a 1.7 million baht balance. But that was from 2023. We're currently in 2025. By 2025, the account balance had dropped to 3 baht. Of course, we do not have any context. How did it drop? Was it by spending or what? We have zero context here. Anyway, the Good Samaritans, including the boxer, are going to receive certificates of appreciation by 23rd April 2025, and the gold shop manager has confirmed rewards for those who help, noting one of them is a loyal customer. And for our last story of the day, trigger warning, this is absolutely heartbreaking. A 5-year-old boy, Yu Jie, died after being left in a locked school van for over 4 hours in Johor Bahru, Malaysia. He was found unconscious near the van's door, suggesting he may have attempted to escape. Teo Tia, the 37-year-old father, expressed disappointment in the van's driver's negligence for not checking if all children had exited before locking the van. And he also believes the kindergarten was also negligent for not verifying attendance or a child's whereabouts when absent. He also speculated that Yu Jie may have been trying to escape but was unable to. The van driver picked up Yu Jie at 7:15 a.m. from Taman Bukit Indah, and the van arrived at the kindergarten by 8:15 a.m. The driver left the van nearby and went home by motorcycle, possibly not noticing Yu Jie, who may have been asleep. At 1 p.m, a teacher informed parents to rush to the hospital as Yu Jie was in critical condition. At the hospital, Yu Jie was motionless, weak and not breathing. Doctors confirmed his death despite efforts to save him. A suspected lack of oxygen could be the cause of death. Yu Jie's aunt, Zhang, criticized the driver's negligence, noting he failed to notice the boy sleeping in the van. And the kindergarten director admitted the driver's oversight but did not explain why the school failed to notify parents of Yu Jie's absence. Zhang also emphasized the tragedy could have been avoided if the driver or a teacher had checked the small van. The van driver has been arrested and remanded for 7 days, and the case is being investigated under Section 31(1)(a) of the Child Act 2001 for neglect. We've covered many stories recently about people being locked in vehicles. One, an elderly man being locked in a car after suffering a stroke, and yesterday a child who was locked in a get-go rental car, but thankfully it was during that time and not during the day. And now this story of a child being locked in a small van at 8 AM in the morning, possibly under the sun, which made conditions really difficult for the child to sustain. This incident sparked widespread grief and anger across various social media platforms, with netizens expressing outrage over the circumstances of Yujie's death. Our thoughts, prayers and condolences to Yujie and his family.